Church is usually a peaceful place where everyone expects the service to go on without any big surprises, but every now and then, some situation shows up to completely break that expectation. From a pastor spitting in the mouths of the faithful to a dance that got out of control, there have already been moments that nobody would believe if they hadn't been filmed. These are exactly the moments you will see today. Miguel Oliveira has always drawn attention with his sermons. He is from Carapicuíba in Brazil. He is 15 years old and got the nickname Kid Missionary. His story has been going around ever since he said he overcame deafness and muteness when he was still little. After that, he threw himself headfirst into services and started showing up at religious gatherings all over the state. In one of those sermons, in a packed temple, he got so excited that he let out a sequence of random words in English. Out of nowhere came that famous "of the king the power," which became a joke all over the internet.
Eu falo na linguagem do país, vocês vão pisar. Of the king, the power, the man, the best, the king, the fairy, the smile. Porque a bandeira da América rola sobre vocês.
Whoever watched the service remembers that Miguel was fired up, talking fast and without order, as if he was trying to keep up with his own accelerated rhythm. The crowd got startled by the excitement, and some even commented afterward that they didn't really understand what was happening there. The boy, however, stayed firm in the style that made him go viral and kept preaching in that intense way. Some services are so calm that the person even nods off without noticing, but there are those gatherings that seem to have a life of their own. The case of this church became a topic exactly because nobody expected that much agitation inside the hall. Right at the beginning, a man climbed onto a tall piece of furniture and started dancing up there, totally in the groove. A woman took off running through the place, as if she had gotten a huge scare. At the same time, other people followed in the same rhythm, running from one side to the other, while part of the crowd kept dancing hard, not saving any energy. Whoever stayed still tried to understand what was happening there, but all you could see was crazy dancing and disorganized running around. It looked like a service that had had that fast style forever, as if that intense vibe was part of their routine and nobody found it strange anymore. Some sermons are agitated, but this one went past the point so fast that nobody understood it right. The service was moving along at a normal pace when the pastor decided to speed everything up. He walked from one side to the other, talking fast, moving his arms and trying to keep the crowd with him in that same energy, until, in the middle of his speech, he raised the microphone and let out a high-pitched scream that cut through the entire temple.
The faster the healings, the faster the deliverance, the faster...
Whoever was in the front rows got startled right away and tried to understand if something serious had happened. Some people thought the sound had blown out, but soon they realized it was really the pastor who simply got carried away beyond measure. In a church in Ghana, a pastor created his own ritual in which he said he could identify spiritual manifestations in a way that was, at the very least, strange. During the meeting, he asked some women to adjust their clothes and come closer. The church leader intended to do a procedure right there, something he said helped him see special divine signs. The vibe got weird when he bent down too much, getting close to delicate areas of the female faithful, as if he was carrying out a kind of spiritual preparation that nobody really understood. The video hit the internet and turned into a huge buzz. The community tried to understand how the women accepted taking part in something so out of the ordinary without questioning for even a second what was happening. Ghana ended up becoming known for this episode that completely slipped out of everyone's hands and left the whole country scratching its head to understand how that service managed to go on as if everything was fine. Churches, spread all over the country, have always been the stage for curious stories. There are services that end in tears, others turn into a party, and some simply go out of control with no warning at all. In one of those lively gatherings, everything started like any Sunday celebration. Loud music, smiling faithful, people clapping along to the rhythm of the praise, and a vibe so joyful that even those who were tired ended up getting into it. In the middle of all that excitement, two women who were dancing while hugging decided to take it a step further. They let go and started spinning in the center of the hall, as if they had received extra energy just for that. The two looked trapped in an invisible competition, spinning non-stop, while the rest of the church danced and jumped wildly around them. In the end, what was supposed to be just another moment of praise turned into a real whirlwind of unpredictable movements that nobody there had planned. The night seemed normal at the Assembly of God in Colombo in Brazil until the church became the stage for a complete mess. It all started after the pastor in charge was removed from the position in a previous meeting, which left the community completely divided. Part of the faithful defended the man tooth and nail. Another part wanted him to hand over the keys and go take care of his life somewhere else. Even so, the service went on until the end, as if it was still possible to keep up the appearance of normality. When the religious gathering ended, the situation got even worse. Outside, there was a group waiting at the entrance. Two members commented on video that some supporters of the ousted pastor, whom they called goons, were there exactly to pick a fight. And that is exactly what happened. Many people said they had never seen a church get so out of control. Colombo ended the night without understanding how a service turned into a complete mess in just a few minutes. In the church, a service was moving along peacefully until the moment when a female member became the main topic. She showed up wearing leggings so tight that anyone would notice she hadn't put on underwear. The fabric was see-through, and that became clear when she stood up for the prayer. Whoever was behind her got startled because the outfit did not match the vibe of the place at all. Some faithful whispered that Satan seemed to have sent temptation to occupy exactly that spot, right there in the middle of the benches. The service went on, but almost everyone's attention stayed stuck on the woman's outfit, which clashed completely with the religious environment. A service was going on lively, with loud music, everyone swaying their bodies in that common way of celebrations. But a female member ended up becoming the center of attention without meaning to. She danced in a fast way, with her arms moving too quickly, and the spins got bigger and bigger. She looked like she had lost any sense of rhythm and limit. Whoever was close got startled by the movement. The woman danced through the church as if she was being pulled by some invisible energy. Two older ladies ran up to her to try to hold her, each grabbing one side. But even that didn't manage to slow the excitement down. The music kept going, but nobody paid attention to it. All the attention was inside that human whirlwind that took over the celebration and left everyone not knowing whether they should help, move away, or just watch that moment completely out of control. In a church, a pastor walked into the hall with a white outfit so big and flared that it looked like it had a life of its own. He started spinning nonstop right in the middle of the space, while some people were sitting around trying to follow all the movement with their eyes. In another video, the pastor appeared dancing with other faithful, wearing that exact same outfit full of layers and not discreet at all. Each step lifted even more fabric, creating a whirl that took up almost half of the aisle. Between spins and steps, the fabric swirled, dominating the space and making that moment unforgettable. A mix of faith, energy, and spectacle that nobody there would be able to forget so soon. No way. Kenneth Hagin became known by many faithful as the pastor who turned calm services into true outbreaks of laughter. It was enough for him to start with that strong laugh for the vibe to change inside the whole church, almost as if someone had pressed an invisible button. In several videos recorded during the meetings, Kenneth appears touching someone's shoulder, and suddenly, the person collapses laughing as if they had lost their strength. This effect followed through the benches like a human domino, one infecting the other non-stop. The service turned into a whirlwind of sounds, people on the ground, and mixed laughter. That anointing of laughter became Kenneth Hagin's trademark, leaving memories of moments as unusual as they were unforgettable for everyone who witnessed these scenes up close. During a sermon, Pastor Camilla stirred controversy while talking about relationships. She said that in the past, she believed she could command herself until she got married and heard from her husband that she would not go somewhere alone. According to her, she accepted it just fine and even said she liked that more controlling way. After that, the pastor kept saying that a woman doesn't want someone who does everything for her because he becomes a banana.
Ai, Camila, eu queria que ele fizesse tudo pra mim. Se ele virar esse homem, tu larga ele porque ele vira banana.
The sermon quickly reached the internet and generated heavy polarization. While some women agreed with the pastor's view, others pushed back saying they value independence, autonomy, and mutual respect in relationships. This pastor here gave the foolproof tip to convince the husband, and the thing became a topic way too fast among those watching the service.
Irmã, não tem homem estúpido diante de uma mulher inteligente e sensual. Tem coisa que você quer resolver na força do teu braço. Se você estivesse colocando uma lingerie, já tinha resolvido.
It was even funny the way she said that into the microphone, as if she was giving the definitive password to solve any marital hassle, as if it were a magic formula. The service started that usual way, with the pastor preaching while trying a few little steps on the stage. The drums and the guitar held the rhythm, and a man up front decided he would hype it even more, spinning his arm like he was trying to take off. Up to that point, everything was under control, but things took another turn when some faithful started jumping non-stop, as if the floor had suddenly heated up. The dances grew, the noise went up, and it turned into a mix of screams, spins, and running around. In the middle of the confusion, a young woman fell to the floor and stayed right there, while the rest kept jumping and dancing as if nothing had really happened. Every second, the mess seemed to gain a life of its own, and the pastor, who should have calmed the situation down, got into the vibe and started jumping along. In the end, the temple turned into a real storm of people dancing with no direction. In this service, something very peculiar happens. The pastor does the so-called soccer anointing, in which he walks through the hall with a ball, while the faithful try to reach the object as if it were a dispute worth a trophy, but nothing comes out as expected. The first man who tries to grab the ball doesn't even get close. He suddenly falls and starts crawling on the floor, as if he were being controlled by a greater and invisible force. Another one runs to try to catch the ball, but ends up jumping non-stop, as if he had gotten one of those scares. Whoever watches from afar ends up laughing at the situation, because nobody can touch the ball, while the pastor keeps walking slowly with the object, as if it were something extremely precious, and the group follows him in a true chaotic and improvised parade. The line in a church was formed at the altar when the pastor showed up with a cup of water in his hand and a rushed manner, as if he was about to do something great. Whoever was closer quickly realized something strange was coming, and it didn't take long for everything to take an unexpected turn. He took a sip of the water, called the first member, and, with no warning, opened the man's mouth and spit in there. Then, he poured the rest of the water over his head, as if that had some kind of special force or unique spiritual power. The member, instead of backing away, totally went with it. He closed his eyes, stood firm, and received the prayer the way the pastor led it. Right after, he ended up falling to the floor, passed out. The repercussions on the internet didn't take long. The comments called the act bizarre and also complained about the lack of hygiene. Others said the pastor was fooling the public and crossing the line. Even so, there were those who defended it, saying that each leader uses their own methods and that it would just be a different way of ministering. In the small congregation, the band started playing a lively praise song, and an older uncle decided to tidy up his little step. At first, he only moved his leg, very discreet, like someone trying to hide an old urge to dance a little. But the rhythm kicked in, and he lost the line for a few seconds. He even did a quick little spin, that shy way, but full of style. Whoever was behind tried to nudge him to calm down. In the end, that little step became just a funny moment inside the church. One of those that everyone remembers later and lets out a laugh with no malice, keeping the scene as just another curious story from services. Don't forget to subscribe so you can watch more videos like this.